Yeah, this is going to be a video about Zion Williamson and Luka Doncic. So let's just jump right into it.
What stood out to you?
You know what? Well, first of all, the greatness of Luka Doncic cannot be denied. There's no question about that. But what stood out to me is Porzingis, the 34, 12, and 5. He's coming along. This former New York Knick that is now a Dallas Maverick, okay? Averaging 34. I'm sorry, he put up 34, 12, and 5 last night. The dude is 7'3". And with Luka Doncic being the threat that he is and the ability to create shots for others as well, Tim Hardaway Jr. is no scrub. I'm very fond of Tim Hardaway Jr. I've always liked him. I think you can expect some things from him. Seth Curry has been on a mini tear himself because the Currys, if we all know they can shoot, the family can shoot. If there was a Curry that couldn't shoot the basketball, that would be back-page news because the Currys can shoot the basketball.
I believe he meant front page news. But I want to say this, man. The Dallas Mavericks is a far better team than the New Orleans Pelicans. But I got to say this, man. Look, I've been watching Zion over the past couple of weeks. And I got to say this. Although I think that his stats are primarily from, just wide open spaces, not much when it comes in the eye of defense, that's where a lot of his offense is coming from, is that the game is so freed up. He doesn't really have to contend. He doesn't have to fight over or through anybody. So he doesn't have to worry about a Charles Oakley or Patrick Ewing. He doesn't have to worry about somebody down there ready to knock his fucking head off if he tries to finish at the rim. He doesn't have to worry about somebody D'ing him up on the three-point line to the point where he feels like he can't even move because there's just somebody all up in his shit. He doesn't have to worry about that. Just like a lot of people doesn't have to worry about that. This is why we see a James Harden. This is why we see a Steph Curry. This is why we see a Luka Doncic, players that just pretty much get wherever they want on the floor. And I'm not going to say it's not because they're not great. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say I think that with where we are with the game, it can be extremely misleading. So I think Zion is taking advantage of the freed up game and the space that the players have now. Like he should be. He should be doing this. But I don't think that his numbers, I would have to see him be able to do this over the course of a season, not over the course of a couple of weeks. All right. And this is one of the issues that I'm having with Zion right now, is where I really want to be proud of this kid. I really want to be glad that he's playing well and he was able to get past the injury. But when we start looking at what Zion is doing, now we're forgetting about what the other players on his team is doing. Like Brandon Ingram, when he has a 30-point game, or when Drew Holiday or Lonzo Ball have triple doubles. And we completely ignore that shit and focus on what Zion is doing and Zion alone. Just like with Luka. Because if you listen to a report on how the Dallas Mavericks played, Luka will be at the forefront, and then a 34-point triple-double from, I believe, Porzingis is ignored or is not as prominent as it should be. But, it's whatever.
Basketball. And Seth Curry, who dropped 21 last night. The reason why this stands out in my mind, because the Dallas Mavericks, we've talked about the LA teams. Of course, we've looked at Houston. We can't ignore Denver. We threw Utah into the mix because Mike Conley Jr. was there as a point guard. We haven't mentioned Dallas at all. And if Dallas can get that level of production from Doncic, which we don't doubt, and Porzingis, it changes things in the Western Conference, potentially for the first couple of rounds.
And I'm going to say this, man. There's a few things that needs to go right for Dallas in order for them to be a championship contender. One, Porzingis has to stay healthy. He has to be able to stay on the floor. If you are concerned, I feel like if you are concerned with Porzingis getting hurt, there's a chance he will get hurt. And Doncic, we see Doncic in the way he's playing in the regular season. We've never seen him play this way in the playoffs yet. I mean, we haven't seen him play this way in the playoffs yet. We haven't seen his ability to impact a playoff series. We haven't seen anything like this. Every year we'll see James Harden go off for all these points and all these 3-pointers and all this other shit. But when the playoffs get here, he seems to play a lot less. Like he seems to play a lot less like himself. And he plays very average most of the time. Just like a Russell Westbrook goes off during the regular season, but when the playoffs get there, his team isn't as good as they should be. So we would have to see what Luka Doncic could do once he gets to the playoffs.
We can view and see and upset somebody, but a top 3 seed
currently the
potentially
7th
get
seed.
knocked
So
off.
if it ended right now, they'd be playing the Clippers, which will obviously change fluidly.
I remember when that Porzingis trade happened. You guys were trying to beat me in the head about how now they're going to get KD and Kyrie or whoever else. And I tried to explain to everyone at the time, actually, when you have Tim Duncan or Dirk Nowitzki or Hakeem Olajuwon, you don't trade them on their rookie deal to clear cap space to sign other players. You build
Max,
around them.
You're always right, Max.
No.
Come on.
No, that's not what the argument was. He was he basically said to them, "We want out."
Well, they did that. They messed that up.
And if you don't let me get out, I'm gonna mess up your free agency.
Loved New York. He loved playing in New York. The Knicks, boy, that Dolan ruined that. Okay, look. The reason I was so upset about that trade is because Kristaps Porzingis is the guy who in whatever conference he's playing in, every GM in the offseason has to say, how do we account for that guy? We're going to have to...
Yeah, that's funny that's the way it is now, because when Kristaps Porzingis was drafted by the New York Knicks, everybody lambasted the Knicks for this pick. Even Stephen A. Smith. Everybody wondered what the hell was Phil Jackson thinking when he drafted Kristaps Porzingis, number 6. And now he has more than shown that he can play at this level and he can be extremely effective at this level. Now is this love fest for this guy? Is this concern? Oh, Kristaps is coming. If I'm Kristaps, man, I am doing whatever I can to get the best conditioning I can because I want to make the league suffer. I think this kid has the game to make the league suffer. I'm talking like a more modernized Dirk Nowitzki style of playing. So, I hope he stays healthy. I really want to see this kid go off.
Do something about him. When he went to Luka, I didn't think it was going to happen this year yet because off a catastrophic injury, you need a year to get back, and then you hit back to where you were if you ever regain that. And he was ascending still. If we get a better version of Porzingis than we've yet seen, and I have every reason to believe that will happen with Luka, this is a championship team. Minimum one, but they could have a dynasty. And then the Pelicans, Lonzo Ball, everyone gave up, D'Angelo Russell, Lonzo Ball, these number 2 picks, Brandon Ingram, all from the Lakers, as it turns out. Everyone's in such a rush nowadays. If they're not immediately great, even though Steve Nash took a while, this one took a while,
they call it instant gratification. If Lonzo Ball isn't a superstar his first year out, he's a bust. He's not as good. If Jason Tatum isn't a superstar his first year out, or his second year out, he's a bust. He's not that good. He should already be great by now. It's his 3rd season. We should have already seen MVP level Jason Tatum. We should have already seen MVP level whoever it is. This is where we are now. We're quick to love, quick to hate. Instead of taking the proper time to evaluate each player based on what we see. Where our expectations is crowding our judgment. Real shit is crowding our judgment and it's making people jump out the window when they don't need to. Lonzo Ball, when you look at how he played his rookie season, the team played a lot better when Lonzo was on the floor. They played a lot more cohesively than when he got hurt. And then the team was like a fucking mess. It was like a mess. And he was a rookie. It would have only got better. But then what did the Lakers go and do? They went and they signed LeBron. Okay, well, and thankfully they traded Lonzo, Brandon Ingram, because I think they would have been extremely unhappy a second year with LeBron James.
Write them off. Lonzo Ball is balling.
Lonzo is a good player, and I've been saying this for a year now. Lonzo Ball is a lot better than people are giving him credit for, and it's usually because they hate his fucking dad. So they are willing to just jump out of it. It's just like with what do you call it, LiAngelo and LaMelo. They are going to ride those kids hard. I wrote a comment about this because I was watching what LeVar was talking about when it came to LaMelo. And I wrote a message saying, LiAngelo, they gave LiAngelo, because even fucking LeVar didn't expect LiAngelo to succeed. They gave LiAngelo such a short noose. They didn't even give him enough noose to hang him fucking self with it. Like, they did not give this kid a long enough rope. And I felt like the moment, like, all it took was maybe 1 or 2 showings, and they were ready to just say, you know what, this kid's not good enough to be in this league. And they moved on from him. Even though in high school, and I get it, it's high school, but in high school, LiAngelo was the leading scorer for that Chino Hills team with Lonzo and LaMelo. He was the guy. They said when you needed a basket, you go to Jello. And now the kid is, like, he can't even get his fucking foot. I think they're going to allow him to join the summer league, I guess. But I don't know, man. I think they quit on that kid too fast. Too fucking fast.
You got, because of the AD trade, you've surrounded Zion with young ascending pieces all around his age.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to work. All right? Because Brandon Ingram right now is a guy who's coming into his own. Brandon Ingram is a guy, like, he started off the season on such a high note. Brandon Ingram is a guy that's going to want to have his own. He's going to want to be the guy. But he can't be the guy on the team with Zion Williamson, because they're always going to look at him as the best player. So if I'm Brandon Ingram, I'm looking to get the fuck out of there.
And the Ingram Lonzo Ball, let me tell you something. What we saw last night, it was the second of back-to-back on the road for the Pelicans. You can't take that into account in terms of their performance. What we saw could easily be the Western Conference Finals in 2 or 3 years on an ongoing basis, health permitting.
I don't disagree with any of that, and I have a well-earned reputation as being the king of hyperbole, and I think you could easily say that when LeBron and Anthony Davis, who are the best duo since Shaq and Kobe, move on to wherever they go next, the heir apparents to that right now feel like Luka and Porzingis. But I will take it a step farther than that, and I will say this. Seth Greenberg brought up a remarkable name this morning and a remarkable comparison this morning on our show on Get Up. He said Luka Doncic is Larry Bird. He reminds him of Larry Bird. We've been waiting for the next Bird. There's always a next somebody. There hasn't really been a next Bird. But if you look at Doncic, he's 2 inches shorter. He's 10 pounds heavier at the age of 21 than Bird was when he finished playing. He bullies people at his point guard position. His court awareness, his sense of all the things that are happening out there, his ability to shoot, his ability to get people involved. We've had the next this, the next that, and the next him. But we have not had the next Larry Bird in the NBA. And Stephen A., I think Luka Doncic is that guy.
Luka Doncic is special. And
Luka Doncic would need to seriously improve his defense. He would need to seriously improve his ability to make smart plays, I guess. Like, Larry Bird had a knack for making the right plays at the right time. He would need to be great at that, okay? He's already a good shooter. He's already a really good rebounder. But I wouldn't say that he's the next Larry Bird. I wouldn't say it. I don't know. I wouldn't say it. I think that's a little bit too far. Okay? And let's not go into the body type. And this is another thing. When you have taller, bigger, stronger players, like Luka is really a small forward. Ben Simmons is really a power forward. And you have these guys playing point guard. I don't think you should be giving them props for abusing smaller, probably lesser talent. Like, oh, he's a bully at the point guard position. Yeah, if a center could ball handle and run as fast as a point guard could, he would be bullying the fucking point guard position too. Because point guards are relatively smaller, slimmer, quicker. Okay? When you have a bigger, stronger, quicker guy playing point guard, bro, like, what do you think is going to happen? Okay? It's hard being a point guard out here with all these big fake-ass point guards running around.
I think the thing that makes him special, he's got that swag about him. He wants it. All right, so he has that it factor. He ain't scared of the big moment. He actually craves it. And Rick Carlisle personally told me, he said, I became a smarter coach and we became a better team the second I came to my senses and said, what the hell am I doing? Here's the ball to this guy, rather than have him playing off the ball and what have you. He did that last February. So kudos to Rick Carlisle, a championship coach. But to get to the Lonzo Ball situation, I would ask we pump the brakes just a touch. He's averaging 12 and 7. 12, 7, and 6. That's what he's averaging. He's had 2.
Okay, and this is what I hate when they use numbers to fucking lambaste the guy. Lonzo is averaging 12, 7, and 6, which are not bad numbers, especially when you already have such low expectations out for you now. Lonzo on this team is not going to be a 20, 10, and 10 guy. He's not going to be that guy. When you have Brandon Ingram, who's doing his fair amount of shooting, which is a lot, because that's mostly what Brandon Ingram can do. And when you have Zion Williamson, who is probably going to start demanding the ball more than what he already has the ball. Like, come on. He's going to, like, it's going to be hard for Lonzo to find a groove to be able to score at that level. And to be honest, he's not really a fucking scorer. He's a facilitator.
Great games, the last 2. The first one was against Minnesota. Last night was against Dallas. A couple of games ago, he scored 2 points. A couple of games after that, he scored 5 points. Let's make sure we pump the brakes. I like Lonzo. My issue with Lonzo has been his assertiveness. The last 2 games, the level of assertiveness I've seen from him is what I've been
Lonzo Ball's a winning play.
But how can he be assertive? And I'm pretty sure he's talking assertive as far as basketball game. How can he be assertive on a team that's already has ball? No, I'm not gonna say ball dominant. That already has guys fighting for fucking shots. You have Drew Holiday, you have Zion, you have Brandon Ingram. You probably have Josh Hart as well. Like, this team is full of shooters. It's going to be hard for him to get his shot when he moves the ball as much as he probably is moving the ball. Come on.
Forget about the LeBron injury for a second. Actually, that team just fell apart and couldn't win with Lonzo's injury. Like, LeBron needed some help. He's a winning player. Guys love to play with him. Porzingis and Luka. Whether or not LeBron and AD stay together, Porzingis and Luka, if they stay healthy, they're coming to take it by force. I don't think it matters who else is there. Porzingis is 2 inches taller than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, plays defense like a monster, and can bomb from 3, take bigs off the dribble, defend in space. What can he do? And Luka, as you said, Luka's an MVP candidate already.
One thing I would ask you to bring up, and I'm not saying that you're wrong about that, what I would tell you is that here's the reason why people have a hard time embracing Porzingis to the degree you do, okay? He's skilled, but they question whether or not he's soft. Not like soft, no heart. I'm talking about physically, all right? The thing about it is that today's game facilitates his greatness because, again, you can get a foul for having bad breath. You get a foul for having bad breath. So that's the NBA that we're playing in. And so you got guys that look at him and go like this, damn, yeah, he could play, but I bet you if you muscled him up. And you also got to take it into consideration.
But, see, sorry. That's what I'm saying about everybody. Not just Porzingis. I'm talking about Zion. I'm talking about Luka. Shit, even Jason Tatum. They're all benefiting from the freed up game we have now. This game is not as rough and tumble as it used to be. And I'm not saying the game back then was better. I'm just saying the game is not as physical as it used to be. Right now, it's you move to, if you have a spot you want to be, you can move to that spot. There's all kind of blocking fouls and loose ball fouls that you know these defenses have to worry about. So you can move to where you want to. You can move to the parts of the floor you want to be. It makes it easier to get to your spots. It makes it easier to get your shots going because you don't have to fight over anybody to get where you want to go. And this is why I made this video. Okay, like we gotta stop comparing Luka to Trae Young. We got to stop comparing Luka to Jason Tatum. We got to stop comparing Luka to Zion Williamson. Luka Doncic was a kid who played with grown fucking men over in foreign countries. Like he played in professional leagues, not college, professional fucking leagues. So we can't really compare the adjustment level. We can't compare a player's readiness to Luka Doncic because Luka was already playing at that level in other countries. So I don't know. Look, it is what it is.
Though come playoff time, they still are softer. There are games they let you play, and there are games they scale back.
Embiid is better than Porzingis right now. Check back in 2 years.
So before I go, can I just clarify for my friend Jay Williams that neither of you are willing to now capitulate to him and say he was right and you were wrong, Luka is the guy you'd start a team with?
There is no way in hell I will ever capitulate to Jay Williams when it comes to my opinions. Now, if I had to get on a basketball court against him, I would defer. But in terms of this realm, no, he capitulates and defers to me. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis.
So I'm done, man. All right.